Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new episode of Trashtalk on Heavy Gear 4th edition, a series where I talk about the various gears and vehicles you can pilot and drive around in the Heavy Gear universe. In this episode, I will be talking about the South Gears and Striders, Part 2. Continuing off from the previous episode, at priority level 5, you get access to Black Mamba, Boa, and Water Viper. Black Mamba is basically the North's Jaguar, better than the Jaeger in every aspect except price, can be dropped out of an airplane and has early warning system, and has variants built for almost anything, including military police because of course, but, as I mentioned before, because the South can actually afford things, the Black Mamba itself is also splitted into many extensively modified variants that spawn their own lines of variants, most of which I won't talk about because they are in the extended content doc. The Boa is a heavy fire support gear. Apparently someone took the word heavy a bit too literally because this thing has 9 goddamn armor, enough to render most weapons practically useless against it, add in 8 hull integrity, and this thing can really eat shit and not die, but it's kinda slow, doesn't really shoot better, it's just normal at this really, and don't have much indirect fire power either, just a light guided mortar and medium rocket. Like most heavy gear, this thing has a heavy autocannon and a big vibro blade with a slightly longer reach. It does have a quick response system, but indirect capability is almost an afterthought on this fire support gear. At the very least, you can bet that this thing will outlast most of its opponent. The vibroblade can also be switched out for a medium combat weapon, just a plain hammer in this case. Combat weapon deal the same damage as vibroblade but lacking in AP, what it gains instead is being better at bringing down building. The light guided mortar can also be switched out for a medium field mortar, more boom for less accuracy. The Water Viper is, as the name implied, a specialized submersible gear. It's better than the Wasser Jaeger in most way, tougher, more firepower plus linked light rocket pack, but it's slower due to a lack of aquatic secondary motive system. However, this thing can be upgraded for e-warfare defense and capability, as well as running stealth and smoke launcher just for maximum infiltration capability, with an additional upgrade dedicated to commander, making a team of these things very dangerous. Aside from those three, you also unlock the Walfish 2 as a VTOL transport that can carry either 2 vehicles or 6 gears, with comm suite so a non-gear pilot commander can yell at people from there. It's basically a giant Huey to transport gear in and out of combat zone. At priority level 6, you unlock Para Iguana, Silver Scale, and the Naga. Para Iguana is a variant of Iguana made for paratrooper, practically the same stat, except for its e-warfare stat that's reduced to +1, the same as the Para Cheetah, and lacking rocket pack for all its variants. In comparison with the Para Cheetah, the Para Iguana usually has more firepower, and also has ECCM capability for all its variants. However, it also has no sensor enhancement. The basic sensor is all you get. The Para Iguana seems to be more focused on defense. It also has a stealth variant, very useful, and a very strange variant with 2 target designators and 2 ECM suite at once. That's just weird. I think there's an error here. The Silver Scale proves that the South is on the forefront of electronic warfare by having the greatest advancement in e-warfare history of all time, a stick otherwise called as sensor boom. This is an incredibly useful tool to have if you are in a e-warfare gear. So here's the thing, you can forward observe enemy behind cover for indirect bombardment, but whoever that's firing will receive a penalty because of that. Sensor boom solves this by being a stick you can use to see things directly through it, thus nullifying the penalty. Yes, that's all, you just do better at your job. Also, target designator requires a direct line of sight, so with sensor boom, you can just forward observe targets safely without peeking your head out and get shot. This is not obvious in its description in 4E unfortunately, though it's quite good in Heavy Gear Blitz. Other than that, the Silver Scale got like basically everything, including being vulnerable to haywire, with 5 armor, don't get shot. And, here it comes, it's the boy, the Naga. The Naga is the face of the Southern Striders, being the most common Striders around and for good reason. This thing is reliable, it's tough with 9 armor and it is fast. You can actually use the damn thing in Heavy Gear 1, though at that point, gears are still better. However, like most heavy vehicle, it has a hard time turning and dodging things, so try not taking too much heat either. For its base variant, it has an Apex HMG, meaning this machine gun deals 7 base damage, enough to tear apart a hunter, and 2 medium ATM, packing 4 shots of anti-tank missiles in total, each dealing 9 damage with 3 AP before having to turn back around and reload. It also has a target designator, so a pair of Naga can easily call in strike for each other, a devastating duo. It also packs a sensor boom, which makes this very funny because a Naga could just hide behind a cover and call an accurate indirect attack the whole time, and that's it. Unlike the mammoth that carry like 10 weapons, the Naga weighs half as much, weighing only 15 tons, still more than most gears, but the heavies are catching up. It got just the right amount of firepower for its role, and that's fine. The other variants just switch out the arm weapons for something else, like light field gun, heavy rocket pack, medium laser cannon, heavy grenade launcher and more. There's a Sea Naga variant that can go underwater, so not even a boat is safe from the Naga, and finally, a command variant, not just packing satellite uplink and ECCM suit for protection, but also actually carrying a ECM, meaning this big strider can both shoot and hack people. Though with only a single medium ATM, it can't exactly shoot much, and, just for more customization, you can switch out the HMG for laser cannon, particle accelerator, or flamer. With fireproofing too, the Naga is just lean, mean, and lethal, and could get the hell out of situation when it wants to. Onward to priority level 7, there's only Sagittarius. Sagittarius is yet another fire support strider, one that can submerge underwater and also packs ECM suite for all its variants, so the driver could actually do more than just forward observe everything. So yeah, we are off to a good start. This thing is dangerous as hell. With 11 armor and 9 hull integrity, the Sagittarius is tough as hell, but it's slower than the Naga, though compared to the North Strider, it's still blazing fast. In all its variants, it has a light rotary cannon and HMG to cut up gears and infantry respectively, and then there's whatever that's on top of its hull, like heavy air burst missile that's lethal against infantry, or triple heavy artillery rockets, apex heavy rocket, linked medium particle accelerator, and linked rotary laser. You can basically choose to make this thing lethal as a fire support or just lethal up close, and there's command upgrade to turn every ride better for the commander too, as well as making it even more protected against E-warfare effect. For priority level 8, there's Fer de Lance, Gila, Green Mamba, King Cobra, Snakeye, Drake, Fire Dragon, and Hydra. That's a lot. Fer de Lance is basically the South Republic saying we are French as fuck. It's a high performance gear that's high in everything, especially price tag. It has early warning system, which is written as just agile here for some reasons, and has airborne deployment capability, plus reinforced cockpit to keep the pilot safe. It's also good at brawling, which is great, because other than a medium rifle and light ATM, this thing has a vibro rapier. The vibro rapier does less damage and AP than normal vibro blade, but it has precise, making it easier to hit something with it, and since AP basically deals at least 1 damage through armor even on a 0 margin of success hit, all those tiny damage will eventually add up rapidly, making the Fer de Lance a lethal duelist gear. Its variant barely changes things up, either adding a bigger ATM launcher, or switching out the rifle and missile pack for pulse laser, or strap in satellite uplink and more, because this gear is perfect for a commander that fancy themselves a ride, all while keeping the vibro rapier. Only problem with this thing is that it needs a lot of maintenance. The Gila is a light trooper gear based on the Iguana that sheds off any E-warfare capability for more firepower. This thing is only somewhat fast with average armor and toughness, but it's quite agile with early warning system, protected by another layer of field armor, and it's also another gear with Brawler 1 plus a light vibro rapier to take advantage of that, plus an addition of an integrated flamer in its chest with fireproofing, making it a very dangerous close-quarter gear. Other than a light rocket pack and medium Panzerfaust, both powerful high-damage weapons, the Gila either has a medium rifle for long-range sniping, or a heavy SMG that can deal 7 damage with a short optimum range, plus an underslung frag cannon. This thing can be really dangerous up close. The Green Mamba is basically the Black Mamba, but made stealth. To the south, the Green Mamba is just a budget stealth gear, but the simple addition of stealth gear makes this thing incredibly dangerous. Think of it as a Black Mamba, but enemy have a way harder time trying to shoot you with artillery or hack you, and you got no problem sending things right back at them. The King Cobra is the southern equivalent of Kodiak. It's a Cobra that's extensively re-engineered from the ground up, packing 9 armor to protect its guts, and plenty of guns with better fire control system and advanced control system to fire all of them accurately. Where the Kodiak has more direct fire power, the King Cobra leans more on fire support with light artillery rocket and guided mortar. That doesn't mean it's not dangerous up close, however, as this thing has Brawler 1 to use its medium vibroblade more effectively, add in intimidating, and it can be one terrifying monster. Just like the Kodiak, its base variant has medium particle accelerator to shut down its targets, with medium rocket pack just for more firepower. Unlike the Kodiak, however, this thing only has 3 variants, probably because the South doesn't actually make use of it much due to their extensive usage of light striders. Snake Eye is the more expensive stealth gear the South uses when they want someone really dead. It's also another goddamn variant of Black Mamba. The South really uses it everywhere. Again, it's basically the Black Mamba in terms of stat, but with stealth. All its variants lack rocket pack, but that doesn't seem like a stealth weapon anyway. The Snake Eye instead have either a light laser cannon, silenced heavy rifle, or medium rotary laser to cut shit up. Needless to say, this thing is one silent death, one zap, and it's game over for someone. Finally, let's get going with all three remaining South Striders, starting with the more normal ones first. The Fire Dragon is a slow lumbering fire support strider with 11 armor and 9 hull integrity, pretty damn tough. It's also the only South Strider with better fire control, plus advanced control on top of that, and stabilizer, so whatever it is shooting, it can shoot with very high accuracy. However, it also don't have much firepower for its size. It has 2 automatic light auto cannon, one on each side to deter gears, and whatever that's below its nose, and a turreted gun on its back. The Fire Dragon has, of course, a medium flamer on its nose, and precise heavy rocket pack on its back, plus being fireproof, and also has anti-missile system, nullifying some incoming projectile as it lumbers forward. The Water Dragon instead has medium snub cannon and linked field mortar, with amphibious assault capability, and then there's the Force Dragon, which has medium pulse laser and flak-capable medium particle accelerator, enough to ground any aircraft that gets too close, but it doesn't have anything special otherwise, except for the fact that both its medium guns has turreted trait and therefore can shoot anyone in any direction. Could this thing use a bit more heavy-grade firepower? Yes, but with how accurate it can be, this thing is more dangerous than its paper stat would suggest. The Hydra is another one of the Southern Chicken Walker but on a much bigger scale. It's another one of those submersible fire support striders that South seems to have everywhere, but it uses ground motive system instead, making it move decently fast on land, and with 10 armor, it can take hits, but not as much as tougher striders can. It has linked light rotary cannons to delete gears with, a medium tank gun that can deal 10 base damage with AP4 all the way from 360 meters away, and a turret on top with medium grenade launcher, rifle, and light field mortar, spreading danger in every direction, and on top of everything else, it has ECM suite with sensor boom, so not only can it shoot a ridiculous amount of guns in every direction, the driver can also sit back and jam up communication. Now imagine that this thing can just pop out of any water surface and immediately wham someone with a high caliber shell. That's going to make some brown pants. Lastly, there's the Drake, the Southern Gear Strider. This thing is mean looking as hell. It has 10 armor and can move somewhat quickly, and is packed with firepower, in all its variants. It has a heavy flamer, automatic turreted heavy frag cannon, and a heavy spike guns with slightly more reach than normal. These three alone already give it a lot of firepower and it has more. Its right hand carry a big gun in all its variant, whether that's an Apex and precise heavy bazooka, say goodbye to your tank, or linked medium pulse laser, linked heavy rotary laser, or an Apex heavy rotary cannon. And its chest is loaded with missiles or rockets, like linked medium artillery rocket in most variants, or linked heavy rocket pack, or medium air burst missile, which can also be switched out for even more linked heavy rocket, which deal 9 damage by the way, so you can just vaporize shit. And there's more. It has advanced control system, fireproofing, anti-missile system, shield big enough to act as cover against incoming fire, and also has brawler too, so anyone trying to melee this thing will immediately get a heavy dose of MSG. This thing is hyper fucking lethal. Jesus Christ, it can be upgraded for commander too, and I'm fairly certain that whoever driving this thing is gonna be a megalo fucking maniac. However, this thing has one massive problem. Out of every Southern Strider, this thing is driven by a solo pilot. While there's never a thing called overkill on battlefield, this is actually too much weapons for one guy to use. The pilot definitely has options to spare for every situation, but it's gonna feel like trying to do a trick shooting while juggling 3 watermelons at once. Nonetheless, the Drake is still going to be one extremely lethal machine. Maintain caution if you face this thing. And for last priority level of the South, which is 9, there's the Chameleon. The Chameleon is a high-performance stealth gear with like all the advanced electronic the South could get their hand on, except sensor. You only get the normal recon sensor. It's still a highly capable gear with high speed and good stat across the board. However, its armor is rather weak, though it does have early warning system and advanced ECM for further protection. Aside from its impressive e-warfare capability, it is also armed with plenty of firepower, though probably lighter than what most people would desire at this priority level. For the most part, the Chameleon is armed with a silenced light SMG, but it can also find its hand on autocannon, bazooka, or silenced rifle, with light rocket pack for when things go loud. An entire team of these thing will definitely rip through the opposition like they were nothing. And that's every gears and striders you can find in the South's arsenal list. The South really loves their striders. Anyway, a certain military-industrial complex is coming up next. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.